Happy Odin's Day. It's been a while. I hope you can forgive me if I've not made a video in nearly 2 months. Obviously, I had a serious injury. I'm still recovering from it, but I am in a better place than I was when I last shared something on this channel, i.e. the photo of me prior to going in for my operation, for my surgery on my knee. It's been quite a challenge. I mean, I'm going a bit stir crazy, to be honest. It's a massive loss of freedom. It's hit my confidence. There's so many little factors to what has happened to me since this ridiculous injury, because it was a ridiculous instance, just slipping, that caused such a serious injury that required surgery, that it makes you think in multiple different levels, like, why has this happened? How I know how it happened. I mean, it's just like, why has it happened? Is this a test? Do the gods have anything to do with it? Is it just my stupidity? I mean, it's ultimately, I guess it was just fated to be. This is what, the Norns have put in my path for me. It's one of those things, really, that makes you question, your progress on your path of power, or in this instance, about my progress on my path of power. Because it's really brought me up short. It's really sort of made me stop, look, listen, look around and question. Or, as I'm probably thinking about it now, moving towards, well, there's something testing about this. And what have my responses been, certainly from a path of power perspective, as these things have happened? I mean, have I gone also like hands on my leg to go, whoa, I've got this power, I can heal it? No, I haven't done that. I haven't tried, to be honest, but it's not been in my line of thinking, to be honest. I would say first and foremost, probably the biggest, personal strength, if you like, has been to do as I'm told, and to do what I can to, not get addicted to the painkillers that I was given in the immediate aftermath of my injury. And then, say, I had needed to take painkillers after my surgery, but I only saw out the length of the painkillers I had been issued with, and once they were done, that was it. I didn't want to take any more, and I have not taken any more. And it's things like that that have sort of been my focus. And to some extent, that's probably why there hasn't been a video, because this has consumed my focus and time, and it's undermined my confidence, honestly, to some extent. I know I've been needing to do a video, I'm doing it now, and I've been thinking what day is best, and there are reasons for other days I might have done it, and I'm going to go into that in short order. I think ultimately it has to be Odin's day that I, rejoin my path, as it were. There have been a couple of instances where I've used the runes, and I have reached out to the gods. In particular, I have, I am still connected to Ingwaz at the moment. I haven't dropped that connection, and I think that has been good. But I also connected to Uz for strength, really, and I suppose to be a little bit bullheaded so I can heal and go forward. Probably my darkest day was just after my surgery, with the anaesthetic starting to wear off and the immense pain I was in. And I reached out to Thor and asked for his help to manage this, and I don't think he is disappointed. There are some things I will do once I'm in a better condition to, be out and about. That's helped immensely. Just feeling a connection that, or an inspiration that, it's taken this, as I've said in many videos and many occasions, I don't wear a Mjolnir because I've not wanted to call upon for protection or good health, because there are lots of people more in need of his help than me. And there's probably something to dissect there, that, this happened, and when the pain was too much, I finally reached out to him. It's not that I've not wanted to reach out to him, I just haven't always. I suppose it's been more a case of questioning certain things in our world that make me wonder whether Thor needs our help or not. And I've not really wanted to be a burden to him. And I think while it's not anything that's glorious or worthy of great renown, my recovery, my ongoing recovery, is going well, and I'm being cautious not to overextend myself or push it to a point that I cause my knee to break down, because that's the last thing I want. I mean, I'm a floor layer and I want to go back to work, and I understand that there is, a serious possibility that may not happen. That's something in the back of my mind to be dealt with if that day comes. As it stands at the moment, I'm making good progress, a good recovery, and none of my doctors or the physio have said that is not possible. Everyone understands the goal, and that's a very good thing. I probably waffled on about myself and my knee enough. Obviously, it's been deeply impacting on my life in ways that are absurd and serious. I mean, I still can't sit on the loo properly, mainly because there isn't a lot of leg room in front of it. I, I'm sitting on the edge of the bed and I've got some bend to my leg, a nice amount really, but it's still not enough to sit on the toilet properly, which means if you've seen some of my social media posts, it means I have to adopt like an absurd Black Widow pose to sit on the loo. It was only last week that I dared try and manage to get into and have a bath, which, bearing in mind the injury I did practically 2 months ago, means, I was probably a little bit riper than I wanted to be, despite maintaining some cleanliness. It's just, I reached a point where it's just like, I need to have a bath. It is time, high time, I think, for New Rune Day. Just as a continuation of my progress to get back into the swing of things, to progress, to move on, and just to help me start to really consider, impact this has had to my path of power. I suppose it's odd, there's been knocks to my confidence and also, building to my confidence. Things I might have had sort of shadowy fears about. It's just been I'm in good health. Despite the injury, I'm in good health. I have good health. I feel good, especially as I'm in this stage of, it sounds a little bit Doctor Who, but regeneration, rebuilding, working towards, just getting back to being sort of normal. I have to say, my wife Jade has been very supportive in this troubling and challenging time. She's been, immense, having to do some things, you wouldn't necessarily choose to do for your partner. For instance, let's say the worst day I had was the Tuesday night, the Wednesday after my surgery, and I was in such pain on the Tuesday night that Wednesday I did not leave the bed for anything. I did not get out of bed for anything, and I mean, I didn't get out of bed for anything. So that just gives you an idea of what love can ask of you. Things to do, and it's immense that someone can cross some boundaries to support you, or that you can lower your defenses as well to be humbled and to be compromised in ways that it doesn't, I don't know, it doesn't sort of break you, because you have that bond, and it's really important. I've only really thought about in a few occasions about how that resonates with masculine energy, as Ingwaz is meant to represent. And obviously, I haven't finished Gurnia's journey either, and its combination with Ingwaz and the timing of my accident is not something I'm overlooking. I'm giving it considerable thought. I'm still thinking about it. I'll probably still be thinking about it come the new year. It's maybe one of those things I'm not going to overthink, and maybe consider how I respond to it. But it is New Rune Day. So Ingwaz has been memorable, and the addition and help of Uruz has been mega. I mean, it's really, I've really felt its influence. It takes, I don't know, there's always that it's just something you do. I've had to recover, I've had to do what I've done, and it's you just get on with it. I think there's also certain levels of how much do you push yourself, or how much do you let fear dictate to you. And it's very real, the fear. I mean, we started doing some little walks around the block, which, I mean, say walks, hobbles, and then the weather turned, and it's just like, we had some frost, and it's just that sort of, well, I'm not risking that, because I don't know what will happen if I slip and fall over. And oddly enough, I was talking about this last week with Jade, how a few years ago we watched this program about this pride of lions brothers that had ruled this area for years while they was young and then in their prime, and then they got too old, and then younger lions come along and killed them, drove them away, brought their era of power to an end. And was kind of jokingly sort of said, well, I'm not in my prime. And it's like almost like that sort of, the laws of nature are dictating a little bit, or it's that, say, the fear, and I've got to conquer that fear. And perhaps that's part of what Ingwaz represents as a masculine energy, is about having to sort of conquer fears to get on with things. Because it's, I mean, I think men and women both do things that deal with stuff and get on with things. And yet I feel it's something that's at the heart of perhaps men more so than women, that I see from someone who works in care homes, that the ratio of women to men is staggeringly uneven in favour of women. That I think men have this susceptibility to fear, to becoming weak and, I don't know, broken, that it can become dominating to you, and you've got to fight it, and you've got to keep fighting it. And it's one of those things that I suppose inspires me to push myself and to not take a stance of that's it, I'm done, I'm never going to be what I was. I've got to aim for getting back to work, and maybe never being the same again for some things, but having this injury be something that impacts my life as little as possible once I'm sort of stepping back into a more usual, normal daily routine. And I think that works really well, sort of transitioning from disconnecting from Ingwaz and connecting to the new rune. And that's a very long segue, really, of waffle to make that work. And I'd like to say I had a script, but I don't. It just sort of seemed to make sense. So the next rune, the new rune, is, to be honest, one of my favourites. And if anything, it's a real hand on my shoulder. So Dagaz, day, and this is from the Swain Plowright translation. Dag, day is the Lord's herald, dear to men, the great judge's light, merriment and hope, to the fortunate and the poor, enjoyed by all. It's one that only has an Old English rune poem. There's no Old Icelandic or Old Norwegian. And it's the rune that I in particular will always feel is associated with Balder and the message. So let's just go for some of the keywords for the Lisa Chamberlain book. So the keywords are daylight, success, hope, breakthrough, transformation, balance. Balance will be good. It's my poor right leg has been compensating for the left leg. I'm going to read some of the descriptions Lisa Chamberlain offers in the primary themes for Dagaz as well. Dagaz is the rune of daylight and is considered a very beneficial sign in any reading. For the ancient Norse, daylight was a precious commodity during the long, cold winters. Dagaz is associated with the contrasting blessing of midsummer, when the days are long and the sun is at the height of power. Increase, growth, prosperity, strength, good health, and general well-being are indicated by this rune. You may experience an unexpected successful outcome concerning a problem or project you have been working on. You are encouraged to remain optimistic and to keep your focus on the light as positive new developments unfold. Dagaz is also known as the Dawn rune, and as such represents new hope and emerging from darkness into light. You may have recently undergone a dark night on a physical, emotional or spiritual level, and are now able to greet the new day with a hard-won clarity and confidence. There is a related aspect of protection to Dagaz, as daylight is considered a protective force, guiding us out of danger and onto the right path and keeping unwanted influences at bay. You are out of harm's way now, so you can rejoice in safety and look forward to new openings and opportunities. It's difficult not to feel positive after reading that. And as Balder says, better days will return. Finally, if I'm going to make a video, I've got to make a plug as well. See, I'm sharing other people's books. It's time to share my own. And this is only like Volume 1. There's others to be planned on, and these are, you know, my translations from a layman's perspective of, as in this book, Voluspa, as well as some poetry of mine and some stories of mine that are influenced, are inspired by Norse paganism. I will put a link in the community chat, and I, hope you buy it. It's would be an encouraging thing, and it might even be something you enjoy, as you sort of see my take on things, or they're things that have appeared in videos on this channel. So it's finalized content put into written form, as well as a few other things. So I'm going to connect to Dagaz now. I'll probably stay connected to Ulus too. I don't want to I want to keep my strength, or keep, well, no, I might not actually, just because I've borrowed enough and it's time to give, as well as, reach beyond sort of the dark phase and move towards better days. I think I've covered everything I needed to say, I felt I needed to say. Yeah, I think that's about it. But if I don't make another video before, I hope everyone has a fantastic Yule, whatever day or date you celebrate it on, or how you celebrate it. I'm not really interested in the arguments over it should be on such and such date and blah blah blah, and etc etc. Ultimately, it's a time to enjoy family, and how you enjoy your family is your business and no one else's. I mean, it's, we've all got our quirks, like pinching the pudding. Yeah, so thank you for staying, thank you for listening. May your journeys be without the stresses mine has been, and I will see you soon. Goodbye.